Today's guest is Julia Celina Porcott. She is a practitioner of transformational coaching, inner child work, and an intuitive healer, and also a flight attendant for almost 26 years. As a sensitive, she sought to find the truth in things. And she also lives by a specific motto when it comes to healing, that we need to learn how to feel our emotions again with all our senses instead of thinking our emotions. So let's welcome today's guest, Julia Celina Porcott. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Adam.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I saw your website, and the interesting, that quote specifically drew my attention towards the desire for us to really know how to feel instead of think things through. And everybody who's on the path to expanding their consciousness meets a boulder in their life, and they either keep making excuses for the things that come their way, or they eventually go through them. And as you just said in that quote, and what I just mentioned is that we need to work through them and feel them.
Yeah.
And yeah. And so from my perspective and speaking to you, maybe you could share with the audience a little bit of how your path started and maybe how you came to the place that you're in right now.
Of course. Do you want to begin first, or shall I
No,
begin?
I'd like you to explain.
Yeah, okay. Of course, what drove me, or what is driving me, was my own past, my childhood. I had a traumatic childhood, and I've been through a lot of stuff and also abuse. So, with all the consequences.
Yeah.
And when I already was a flight attendant, and I had problems and I had issues. I had complex PTSD. I had anxiety, panic attacks, nightmares. I had all that. And I tried therapy for a long time, the regular therapy concepts, psychological therapy concepts, and
Yes.
they didn't work at all. I was really like, I wanted to learn, I wanted to resolve the trauma, I wanted to understand everything, but it didn't work at all. So when I came to the end of therapy, the therapist said it's the end now, and I still had all the trauma within me, and I was able to analyze everything. I was able to intellectually understand everything, but it wasn't resolved. But at that point in the past, I didn't understand really how trauma really works. And I think even many therapists, or the regular
Yeah.
therapy concepts, so I was re-traumatized again. I had a quite heavy path or journey. I had to learn a lot of things. I had a lot of things to resolve. So I started to look and search for alternative possibilities and techniques. And so I discovered some spiritual teachers online or on YouTube. And some of them were talking about, you have to feel your emotions. And at that time, it was about, I think, 2016, 2017. I also had a spiritual awakening was triggered at 2015. So everything came together. So I saw these spiritual teachers, and talking about, you have to feel your emotions. And at that point, I already started with meditation. So I was quite into meditation. And then to make it short, I tried to understand, what does it mean to feel your emotions? Because I thought, I'm feeling all the pain inside for so many years. I mean, what do they
Right,
mean?
right,
I'm
right.
feeling them. So why
Right.
it doesn't change anything? And then I understood, I took time to really go inward. So that's when you really have to take space and time, if it's possible,
Yeah.
and take time. And then I sat down and tried with meditation. And then was the point where it was really a heavy point, because I was so ready to die, honestly. It
Yeah.
was a point where I was so exhausted, physically, emotionally, mentally. I couldn't get up anymore. My body was hurting extremely, and I didn't know what to do else. So that was the point where I connected with God, or with
Yeah.
my soul, and where I released the resistance. I surrendered completely to what was at that time.
Right.
And I also felt very guided from my guides, and I asked God. I'm not religious in that kind, but I do believe in the higher powers, divine help and powers, and God. And I asked for guidance. I asked, please tell me what it is I need to know and tell me what I should do. And I really received the messages, just feel, do not think, and just feel what is. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to think. You don't have to analyze. You don't have to be in the story. Just feel all the emotions in your body. And that was a turning point, so to say. So I understood that thinking is not feeling. That's where I really understood and felt the information or the message, what it means to feel your emotions and not to think your emotions. Because when we are in trauma stress and when we have all that PTSD,
Yeah.
we are always in the mind because of survival mechanisms. The mind is we're trying to survive. And then we're always in the mind, and we are closed, the heart is closed. We're not able to fully feel. We cannot surrender because of protection.
Yeah.
And trying to control everything in order to not getting hurt again. So that was the point where I deeply was able to surrender and to release resistance to the very negative and painful emotions, which I felt in my body so strong. It was so heavy and strong when I allowed all this to feel in my body. And I started to do this process to just sit from morning to evening. And the first weeks, I did it every day. From morning till evening, I did nothing else, just sit and feel. And in the beginning, it was so strong that I think I did not fall asleep. I think I went unconscious or passed out. How do you say
Wow.
that in English?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was so heavy that I could not stay awake. I was like, I had to lay down on the floor and I was gone somewhere. And but I said to myself, I'm present with it. I will be present with it. I will not run away. I will not dissociate. I will not distract myself from feeling it. And yeah, and I stayed with it really strong, being unconditionally present with whatever is. And the key is to letting go of the resistance. So fully feel it. And that is when the process started of healing, a very deep healing in my life.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I honor that because I could feel the energy of that, and I know it from my own experience of my
Yeah,
childhood, the trauma that I experienced, and
yeah,
I guess the years that passed along where there was no information and there was no YouTube and
yeah,
there was no insight
yeah,
into the things that could have sped up the process of putting a person on a path of awakening. But be it that the circumstances were what they were, I do recognize the fact that there came a time where I was resonating with people and teachers like yourself who would offer me the insight to say, you need to feel. And I didn't know how to feel. My whole
mhm,
life was about pushing feelings away because
yeah,
that's what I saw from people. And that's what I experienced. And so I felt feeling is very, very scary.
yeah,
And as you said, people are afraid, I think, of the anger that arises from feeling, that they'll be overwhelmed with it.
yeah,
And especially for men, because I know I have a lot of friends who have their
mhm,
traumas, but they don't talk about them. And they communicate with me and try to get to a place of, so what do I do without saying it? But they don't want to, they never ask the question, what's the next step? Like, what can I do? So they're intertwined in anger and intertwined in not feeling. But the dissociation, as you mentioned before, is definitely a profound and a very, very deep feeling. I remember being in the street myself and just not feeling things, looking around, nothing was real.
mhm,
And I think, as I'm sure you would agree, that the path of the more difficult the more difficult things we experience, the greater chance for us to open up and to become more evolved.
yeah,
And
yeah.
And maybe you can talk about that, how that relates
Yeah.
to your work. And or,
Absolutely. I absolutely relate to what you say, and I experience it the same. And I think, as you said, that there is a higher or bigger possibility to open up the more trauma maybe we possibly have, or the more challenges we have, because I think it's like a pressure cooker. There
yeah,
is a
yeah,
point where we cannot handle it. We can't, because we need so much energy to suppress it. It costs a lot of energy to suppress and deny and reject the emotions.
yes,
And of course we don't know how to do it, because if we knew how to process or how to handle the emotions in certain situations or experiences, we would have done it, but
yep,
we're not taught it. Nobody taught how to do it, and we're taught to suppress.
yep, yep,
We're taught, be quiet, do not cry, when we were little children. And maybe boys, what we have all experienced, you should put yourself together and don't cry right now, be strong, and for whatever, or we got punished.
yeah,
And what we do then is we reject our own emotions, we push them away, and then we stow them somewhere in the unconscious, and we try to adjust to our environment in order to fit in and to be accepted and not to be rejected.
yes,
And that's all the process behind it, I think. And with the anger, what you said, especially for men, and I also as a woman, I experience a lot of anger as well inside of me, and
yeah,
I'm very able to feel the anger. It's in my whole process, I thought I felt guilty in the past to feeling the anger or to being angry. I thought I should not feel that. It's not okay to, if you are angry, you're not a good person.
right, right,
But
right, right,
then I also received the information somehow from my guides or my soul that God has equipped us with all the variety of emotions from positive to negative. And why should anger be a negative thing?
yes,
I mean, if we, that's a condition. So we put a concept or conditions, how you say, or like a frame,
frame,
which
right,
a frame which emotions are good and the other ones are not good. So why? It's an experience.
yes,
And I also experience when I'm diving into the emotion, I ask the emotion, what is the message? Because they are linked to our inner children or to parts within ourselves that are separated due to traumatic experiences or
yes,
to painful experience. The term trauma is just, it's a term to describe. So if someone feels anger, I think it's very important to first to allow ourselves to feel, because we are not a bad person when we feel certain emotions. We're not bad because those emotions carry a message.
yes,
And the message is linked to our inner guiding system, I would say, from my experience, and also to our inner children. They maybe want to say something, they want to be heard and felt, and they say
yeah,
maybe anger. What is anger? Anger is a cover emotion that covers another emotion. And when we feel anger, we feel empowered instead of being powerless.
right,
And so we can allow ourselves to feel the anger without doing something that hurts another person.
yeah, yes, yes,
So this is the way how I approach my own emotions, or yeah, even if I have feelings of hate or anger or
yeah,
something.
yeah. It's
Does it make,
powerful.
yeah.
It's powerful,
How,
and it's inspirational to hear that, because when you could resonate with people
yeah,
who've gone up that path, like you're
yeah,
expressing,
yeah,
it reinforces that path.
yeah. Absolutely, because I had to learn and I'm still learning. I mean, even if I know that, I can talk about it hundreds of hours, but
Yeah,
even I catch myself when fall back into old patterns, like trying to push it away or disconnect from my emotions and distract myself. And then so, oh,
yes,
but they're
yes.
coming back. They're coming back always. They don't let me out.
If
And then I have to sit down and say, oh, I have to feel this. Oh, I don't like that. I should
yeah,
feel
yeah,
different. And
And I think once we go down the rabbit hole of discovering our own inner world, it takes us beyond ourselves because we've buried ourselves deep into the core of what we are about. And then once we come to that conclusion, then it takes us to the universe. And I think I've had experiences. I don't know if you've had experiences per se with galactic energies or connections. I know yeah. And so for myself, I'll share a little bit, and then I guess you can express what
Yes,
you.
please.
Yeah. So
Yes, please.
I've been on the beach about a couple of years ago, and a ship came by, and maybe about 400 or 500 feet off the ground. And I looked at it, and once I looked at it, and it went on a 45-degree angle into the clouds. And then that winter, I was driving on the parkway, the Autobahn, and
Uh,
a blue orb, by the airport, by the Flughafen, came flying
yes.
and stayed right by my car. A big blue orb, and then whoosh, like a big ball, and then took off. Uh, and then I've had experiences where I've always seen in my third eye specific looking uh, person or being. I would say it is.
Mhm.
And then I had a dream. I had a dream well, about a year ago, about a ship flying overboard and hearing a woman say to me, "Hi, Adam." And then thereafter, I was contacted in person by somebody who sounded similar to the voice that I heard in the dream, who was more galactic than, or however you want to word it. So for me, it's been that connection of receiving information or being connected with people who have a galactic connection. And so maybe you want to share a little bit
You're
about,
galactic.
yeah, I'm galactic.
Yeah.
You're galactic.
Galactic family. Galactic family.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. That's how it was. How was it for you? I mean, how
Yeah,
did you feel?
I felt, well, you know what it is? It's funny because people always tell me, I find that you have a connection to something. When they do healing work for me, they see galactic beings, or they'll do energy work with me, and they'll see like me in a metal room, or like on a metal area. And I
Mhm.
was in New Hampshire
Mhm.
about 3, 4 years ago, and I guess that
Mhm.
was the first time because I was questioning all the different things. But I was in New Hampshire, and I said to myself, I think there's a sign in the town. I think this town had something happen with aliens or UFOs, and it's a small little town, nothing there. And all of a sudden, I type in the town with aliens, and it says this was the first place that Betty and Barney Hill were abducted, and that was the Betty and Barney Hill abduction. That's the first abduction that was noted by the government. And so it was exactly where I
Mhm.
was staying, right down the street. And I went to the sign and I took a picture of it. I said, "You see, I was guided towards this particular information." And so for me, I think it makes me feel healing wise, energetically
Mhm.
connected.
Mhm.
Uh, and I believe in the support of it. Yeah. The Galactic Federation, Ashtar Command.
Yes.
Yeah. And I resonate with many people who are on that plane of understanding.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, may I ask a question? I know you went to interview me, but I'm curious as well.
Go ahead.
Um, when did when did it start that you open up to all these topics?
Well, I have to say, I was contacted by somebody actually who knew me from
Okay.
Sirius, from the planet Sirius. So I was on a webinar, on a Akashic Record meeting. And so somebody wrote me and said, "I know you." And I said, "Know me?" I said, "Okay." So what happened was exactly, "I know you from the planet Sirius." Um, so I said, "Planet Sirius." At the time, I had no understanding of it, but I did an Akashic Record reading. And when I
Mhm.
did the reading, I heard saying, "You're from the blue planet." And I didn't know the blue planet was at all. And I looked up blue planet, said Sirius. And so I was so intrigued by that, and it awoke in something in me that recognized that I was more than just this physical body and this human being sitting in front of a computer. And at the moments
Mm-hmm.
when I saw these beings in my mind, certain
Mm-hmm.
face structure and eyes, I said, "Who is that?" And who's? It's like a communication. So that was the beginning of it. Once that happened, because then I said I can tie together these pictures or these images in my third eye with that. And then I was
Mm-hmm.
feeling, I guess I was feeling the connection from that. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, I think we do receive some breadcrumbs through our life experience from the beginning on,
Yes.
and we are ready to receive more information and understanding of our heritage. Is that the right term?
Yeah, I would say
Heritage?
yes, yes. Yeah. Ancestry,
Yes.
ancestral connection.
Yeah, ancestor soul level, on a soul level, that we're not only experienced here, life journeys on Earth,
Right.
that it's intergalactic or extraterrestrial. Yes. Yeah.
Goes beyond
Yeah, of
Lufthansa.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And
Yeah, I had yeah,
you've had experiences
please.
yourself?
Yeah, I had some of them. I mean, since I was a little child, I was very into the movies, the Star Wars, everything with
That's interesting.
starships and extraterrestrial. And I remember when I was about, I don't know, 10 years with other children, we were building in the sand. We had a playground and there were like sand, and we were creating starships like in the movies, and we were playing this, we were playing the roles. I'm an ET, and we were traveling from planet to planet and some things of that. But it was interesting when I look back now, because I understand the reason why I was so attracted to all these topics.
Yes.
And but I fully opened up a few years ago, not too early. A few years ago, it started to that I was so curious and excited about all these topics, and also because I never felt that I belong here
Right, right.
somehow. And I always felt that there's something else, but it's not here. It's somewhere else, and I couldn't explain this to myself until I explain. I opened up to it during my healing journey when I was doing intense healing work for about 3 years or something. Um, and I did all the deep meditations and all that. And there was a time when there was a day I was really desperate, and I had with the nightmares and all that stuff, and I asked really for help. Um, and then I received some help, and I felt someone. I don't know if this was a guardian angel or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I really I felt physically someone is embracing me, embarking. What is,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Embrace,
And
embrace.
embrace me with a huge, I don't know what it was. I felt so much love. I felt embraced with pure love, and someone was whispering in my ear, "Don't worry, everything will be fine." And it was like someone talking to me, and I felt pure love. It was so divine, and it calmed my nervous system down, and then I fell asleep in
Wow,
a
wow, wow.
very deep sleep. And in that sleep, I received information what I should do the next, what are the next steps that I should do. So I felt the connection got stronger and stronger at that time, because I opened up so much.
Yes.
And then I read a lot of things about extraterrestrials, and then I read a really good book from a wonderful person, and those books helped me a lot to understand my life. May I mention her?
Go
Or
ahead. Sure.
yeah, the books are. It was about light workers from Sharon Stewart.
I've heard the
I
name.
think it's called Beyond. beyond this world, I need to check in my bookshelf.
Okay.
And whatever she wrote, I said, well, this is my life. This is my life. I read all this. This is my life. This is exactly what I experienced. And I thought, oh my God, now
Yeah.
I understand myself
Yes.
even better. And I was so excited about all these, extraterrestrial
Yes.
topics and other planets. And it was like, wow, I feel it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then I had dreams that their ships were covering Earth, like spaceships covering Earth. And then I did some meditation with a friend, and we start with because I felt that I have a family up there,
Yes. Yes.
another family, so my extraterrestrial family, and I felt very much attracted to the
Pleiades. Yes. Yeah.
Pleiades. Yeah, in German it's a little bit different.
Yes. It's spelled
um,
differently.
yeah, I felt very connected to one of the Pleiades, and then I did a meditation with a friend, and we thought, okay, let's go up to a ship. If I do belong somewhere, then I maybe will be guided to this experience. And it worked out. I got into meditation, and I had the intention, with guidance, of course, always being also like protected,
Yeah. Protected.
because there is light and dark in this world, is both is existing. So you have to have the proper intention,
Yes.
and a pure intention with a pure heart. So for the highest good of everyone, this is always what I'm doing. Is whatever I'm doing it for the highest well-being for everyone. And in this meditation, uh, I don't know how to explain. I was going up to a ship. I was like, something is pulling me,
Right. Right.
and I was on a ship. It was not a long experience. It was a short experience, and I was on this ship from the Pleiades and or Pleiades, and what I felt was so much love. The love I felt, the presence, the energy was so strong, which I have never experienced here on Earth.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And then I met my Pleiadian sister over there. And she came towards me, and she was so beautiful. She had long blonde hair. She was so beautiful. And she said, I'm your sister. And I didn't know her name, or I didn't ask for her name. It was a short experience because maybe I couldn't hold it for that long, the energy or the vibration. But and then the experience was gone. So I met my sister over there, and then I had to go back. That was all. I
Yeah.
didn't see a lot, but it was such a beautiful experience. I came back, I came out of the meditation, and I was so touched deeply. This
Yeah.
was
That's
one of two.
Yeah, it's so interesting because
Yeah,
when I hear people's stories like yours, it strengthens that the understanding and the connection of that what you're
yeah,
speaking of. And
yeah,
and I know once I think that we go through these traumas for us to be reminded again of that
yeah,
connection as well. Not only the
yeah,
connection to the inner child, but then again to the galactic connection. So then we're going
yeah,
in a cycle back and forth, and then we're then being able to
yeah,
teach that and expand that like you're doing, and the conversation that we're having. Because again, you speak to people who you talk about the inner child, and then once they're going there, then they start. Do you really believe in that there's life beyond this universe? That's the next question that comes up, and then they're going back and
yeah,
forth debating. And then, like yourself, you had that
yeah,
experience, that dream, and myself having the dream of somebody communicating with me. And I forgot to mention
yeah.
thereafter, in that dream, I saw two moons or two suns in the dream, and I
Wow.
was told to look up in the sky at the two planets together, and I did. And then people were saying, "Come back in the house. Don't look." Like regular people that I was with at a party. I was saying,
Yeah,
"Look," and they were pulling me in, saying, "No, don't look, don't look." And then the ship came by and then said, "Hi, Adam," in a very violet lights were shining. And then I had a dream of red ships going overhead. And I was pointing to the sky and telling everybody, look up. And they didn't see it. But I said, you don't see that? I said, it's right there. So, and also in childhood, I used to draw rocket ships to the moon.
Wow.
And I used to watch the astronauts take off. I used to sit in front of the TV with the little black and white television. And I remember sitting there and watching and drawing the rocket ships going up, especially when they came down. I said, how did they come down? How did they make it through those clouds with the parachute? And they like it was so fascinating to me. Um, but I resonate with the energy of the galactic connection, and I definitely have that understanding myself of the energies, that the healing aspects of it too, because I feel that as well. I haven't been able to point a specific individual, but definitely feel connected to that.
Mm.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's transformational. I think it's important. It's an important aspect of our healing path as well, because we do get support from the energies that
Yeah.
go beyond.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
I maybe may I add something?
of course.
Um, what yeah, what I also the Sharon Stewart, the woman, she wrote some books. She offered a few years ago. She offered readings because she has like an implant. She had like an implant to communicate with the galactics. Not it's channeled message, but the implant was about that she whenever whatever vibration she has, she could always like communicate like a telephone, like
Yeah.
easily. So to maintain a stable connection to her galactic family and what the work is she's doing here on Earth. And she offered for a very short period of time, she offered a channeling where she connects to her galactics or to our galactic soul family.
Wow.
And I thought this is, I want to take this. I want to know what my family,
Yeah, yeah.
and I had a chance to ask her a few questions to explain to me where I'm coming from, or if there's a message, or what is my family, where are they, and so on. And then she gave me this wonderful reading,
Could you
and
share
she
it?
connected with my star family. And she explained all that my mother and my father from this from planet Maya, from the
Ladies.
Pleiades,
Yeah.
Pleiades, yeah. And my sister, I said, "Do I have a sister? Was it a real experience?" And she said, "Yes, her name is Ella."
Wow.
And then she also explained that for people like us, that it is important that we don't feel the strong connection to them during our lifetime here, because then we have problems to anchor into this physical reality, because we want to go back, because we know there is more love, or more, we are connected to our families, and we wouldn't be able to do the work here on Earth we were supposed to do, or we are supposed to do, and we have planned to do before incarnation.
Yeah. That
So
makes a
she
lot of
said
sense.
the information is blocked on purpose, that not everything is revealed to everyone for a good reason.
Yeah, well, which I think I interviewed somebody who had a near-death experience, and he was told during the near-death experience the reason for his struggles and getting into this near-death experience was because his his consciousness was so elevated. The only way to bring him back down was to have him go through an accident. And so maybe, as you're speaking and we're
Yeah.
talking about the subject, maybe we go through more difficult challenges in order to keep us grounded on the earthly plane so that we don't, in some way, there's
Yeah,
other,
it could.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it could be possible. Maybe there are many. So I think maybe there are many reasons for
Yeah, yeah,
things.
yeah,
What I also think is that, or what I also read, and what makes also sense to me, is that many of us, if higher vibrational beings come to Earth and they have planned to go to severe trauma or heavy dramatic experiences,
yeah,
and on their healing journey, while they are transforming the negative emotions and the negativity, they're resolving also karma and also clearing up the DNA lineage or the ancestor lineage. It's clearing the lineage.
Yes,
And
yes.
because of the souls from the higher evolved souls, or the souls, the essence of the souls, they have so much power that when they resolve trauma, it has a very strong impact and effect, a very positive, strong, powerful impact. And of course for the evolvement of the soul, because the soul wants to learn more and going through heavy experiences.
Yeah.
And then also you can, when we learn and we transform, and as you know, as a healer as well, we can give to others. So it's always serves, I think, many purposes, but it's not always fun.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not
No,
fun.
it's not fun. Maybe you could leave the audience with a message that you'd like to say about the work you do, about life itself.
About a message that it's always worth to do the inner work, no matter how hard it is, because after that, if we are getting rewarded with so much more, which is how can I say in English? Sometimes I'm missing the words. It's worth it. It's worth the work and facing our emotions or our inner issues, no matter how hard it is worth it. It's worth what we receive after it. It's worth the healing we experience. And so I just can say that take the courage, take the little baby steps, because every step is a step of success.
Yes.
And there is no other way around it. There is no better way, no other way. It's a hard way, but keeping the old patterns and staying in trauma and denying or trying to not facing it is even worse.
Yeah.
Is harder. It's harder to stand the pain for the rest of your life than facing it once powerfully with whatever it takes, but then have the rewards after it and being free yourself from it. And it's worth it because it's the connection to your soul, or to our souls, and the connection to ourselves. And this is the most wonderful thing. Nothing can replace that.
Yeah, those are beautiful words and inspiring. And I want to thank you for joining me today and sharing your life, a part of your life, and your connections and your journey, and that continual journey of evolving to becoming the powerful person that you are. So I want to thank you.
And I want to thank you as well, Adam. It was a big pleasure for me, and that you had me in this interview. And I appreciate you very much. I think you do a lot of good things.
Thank you.
Here with your work as well.